What is up, budget billers? My name is Trail, and today we have some unexpected news regarding the virus cases and just how long we can expect this virus to stick around. We also have some unusual information regarding cruise ships right now, in which more than 90 ships are currently being investigated, and cruise ships may have to temporarily shut down again. Also, guys, hey, in stimulus update news, there is more chatter regarding President Biden using his executive privilege to pass portions of the Build Back Better Act, which it might actually be easier to pass portions of the $2 trillion social spending bill in order to get some of those provisions and social net programs approved to assist some of the American people who need it the most. Now, whether Biden will do it or not is the big question, but I do have some video that I want to show you guys so that you can determine if this is positive or not. What are the alternatives? Well, the Democrats are still planning on passing the Build Back Better Act sometime next month. Do they have a chance with Senator Joe Manchin? Well, I will let you guys know exactly what Manchin said about the current social spending bill. Now, before we get started, guys, hey, if you're interested in either of those topics today and you want to be a part of this channel, hey, be so kind and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. It's totally free. And if you end up liking this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this channel. Now, let's go ahead and jump right back into this video. Hey, real quick, guys. Hey, I wanted to ask you guys for your support on my new channel that will be launching next year, and it's called Budget Bill Finance. I am going to be talking about growing wealth, investing in stocks and real estate, as well as showing you guys what I am doing outside of YouTube. You guys don't want to know that, right? So if you want to be a part of this channel, be so kind and hit that subscribe button. I hope to see you guys there. Now, that link will be down below in the description. Okay, guys, starting off, we had two legends pass away this week. Yes, NFL legend John Madden died at 85 years old. Now, he was known as one of the most winningest Super Bowl coaches in NFL's history. And then we also had Harry Reid, which was a longtime U.S. Senator on the Democratic side, and he died of 82 years old. Now, both of these legends died on the same day, Tuesday, earlier this week. Now, on to some other news, guys. The CDC is now slashing its estimates of the Omicron case prevalence. Now, what this means, guys, is the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 is represented a much smaller proportion of virus cases during this week alone, as well as the week ending in December the 18th. Now, the CDC has stated that although this virus variant is not as deadly as the Delta variant was, it is still causing a lot of havoc in this country. Now, the CDC originally forecasted last week that the Omicron strain represented about 73% of all cases for the entire week, as well as this past week. But Omicron is now representing most of the cases worldwide. Now, this drastic data change is due to the fact that the CDC knew about Omicron was spreading quickly, but it ultimately discovered fewer Omicron cases after more data came in. Now, right now, the CDC is estimating that the Omicron prevalence were way off, but the rising caseloads and new data still suggest that this variant is driving the country's current outbreak. And you guys already know everywhere around the world right now is trying to get a COVID test. I mean, just earlier I passed by a COVID testing center on the way to my home, and over 50 cars were lined up around 6:30 p.m. So yes, this thing is really spreading like wildfires right now, but I'm glad to see that not that many hospitalizations as well as deaths are occurring. Now, in other virus news, guys, hey, study is now suggesting that the coronavirus actually lingers in your organs for months after you've been infected with the virus. According to this new data, it says that the COVID-19 virus can persist in different body parts for months after infection, including the heart and the brain. Now, scientists at the National Institutes of Health found the virus can spread widely from the respiratory tract to almost every organ in the body and linger for months going forward. Now, the researchers described the study as the most comprehensive analysis to date thus far of the virus's persistence throughout the body and the brain. And they performed autopsies on 44 patients who died either from or with COVID-19 to map and quantify virus distributions across the body. Now, the principal investigator in the NIH's emerging pathogen section said, along with his colleagues, that RNA from the virus was found in patients up to 230 days after symptoms had onset. Now, these particular findings, released online on this past Saturday in a preprint manuscript, shed some new light on patients who suffer from these so-called long COVID-19 symptoms. And the study found that the virus had replicated across multiple organ systems, even among patients with asymptomatic to mild COVID-19 symptoms. Now, this virus was detected in all 44 cases and across 79 to 85 anatomical locations and body fluids that were sampled in this study. This is crazy, guys. Now, while the highest burden of infections was in the lungs and airways, the study showed that the virus can disseminate early during infection and infect cells throughout the entire body, including in the brain, as well as in ocular tissue, muscles, skin, peripheral nerves, and tissues in the cardiovascular, gastrointestinal, endocrine, and lymphatic systems in your body. Woo! This is crazy to hear, guys. I am so afraid of getting COVID, guys. I just had my booster shot earlier this week on Monday, so I am hoping that I am fully protected from getting this thing, or if I do get it, I will end up having mild symptoms. As you know, guys, the virus or the vaccinations or the booster shot does not prevent you from catching COVID-19. So I want to be clear on that information because I don't want to be spreading some false information on this channel. But in other news, guys, hey, more cruise ships are under the CDC investigation following COVID-19 outbreaks on board. Yes, the U.S. CDC has said it that they are investigating more cruise ships due to the new cases of COVID-19 as the Omicron variant drives extremely high infection levels in the industry's hub of Florida. Now, the CDC said that 88 vessels are now either under investigation or observation, but it did not specify how many COVID-19 cases have been reported on these cruise ships. But 4 other vessels are also being monitored by the CDC as well. And Florida hit a new record of daily cases on Tuesday with 46,000 new cases in one day. And since Christmas, the state's 7-day average of daily cases has surpassed previous records setting during last summer's surge, rising to 29,000 infections. Now, the coronavirus hospitalizations in the state of Florida have also risen from about 1,200 patients 2 weeks ago to about 3,000 cases on Wednesday. But that is still less than 1/5 of the number of hospitalizations that were reported late August of this year regarding the Delta variant. So yes, the CDC wants to look at exactly why these 90 cruise ships are really having an outbreak on these cruise ships, especially as they require all members or traveling members to be vaccinated as well as to be tested prior to getting on these cruise ships. So they are trying to figure out why these outbreaks are actually happening. But in other news, guys, we do have some information that was stated from the IRS's website, and this is clearly just a reminder from the IRS. And they are stating that many employers and self-employed people have deferred their Social Security tax payments. They will be required and they will be due by January the 3rd of 2022. Now, the IRS today reminded employers and self-employed individuals that chose to defer paying off their 2020 Social Security tax obligation that payment is due on January the 3rd. Now, most affected employers and employees, self-employed individuals, receive a reminder billing notices from the IRS. The agency noted that, however, that those affected are still required to make those payments on time, even if they did not receive a bill in the mail. As part of the COVID relief provided during 2020, employers and self-employed people could choose to put off paying their employer's share of their eligible Social Security tax liability, normally 6.2% of their wages, and half of that deferral is now due on January the 3rd. So again, this is just a friendly reminder that if you did defer your Social Security tax payment in 2020 from your employer, or if you're self-employed, hey, that money is due by January the 3rd. Do not miss that due date, because they will be charging you interest rates on that money that you owe the IRS, and we don't want to owe the IRS any money. Now guys, on to some stimulus update news. Hey, I told you guys on the previous video that there is an urgency that is pushing President Biden to use his executive privilege to go ahead and pass portions of the $2 trillion social spending bill. Yes, this effort is pushed by Representative Jayapal, and she is urging Biden to use his executive action to deliver the spending bill or portions of that bill. So this topic is really picking up some heat right now in Washington. And yes, they are talking about the executive action that will also make clear to those who hinder the Build Back Better Act that the White House and the Democrats will deliver for the American people, wrote Jayapal, which is the chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, which is about a 95-member caucus. Yes, Jayapal said that the caucus will continue to work towards legislation for the Build Back Better Act, focusing on keeping it close to the agreed upon framework as possible in an effort to pass the $2 trillion social spending bill. So as I stated on the previous video, that they are really pushing for these provisions such as the pre-K, as well as the social net programs, as well as the taxing increases on the wealthiest Americans in this country. They are really trying to at least pass those provisions right now, and they want President Biden to use his executive privilege to do just that. But I do have some video that I want to go ahead and show you in regards to this urgency in pushing President Biden to do just that on these provisions. Watch right here.
Are you open to the idea of President Biden using executive action to pass parts of the Build Back Better Act?
Well, I think we have to be clear that we need long-term durable policy, and executive action can be helpful, but it does not provide durable policy. That's Congress's role. And so I think Congress needs to act. And especially we look at things like the child tax credit, the only way we're going to extend that is through passing legislation. We are a co-equal branch of government. We have to do our part.
So then what's the best way forward for legislation?
Well, we're going to continue those discussions to look at how we bring policy together. Sometimes policy goes through rough passage along the way to finally getting it passed. And part of it is having a discussion about the impact we're seeing. And the child tax credit is a great example. We have seen incredible impact just in the last 6 months. Those first checks went out in July. We have, as of November, 3.8 million children who've been lifted out of poverty across our country. Families being able to put food on the table, pay bills, buy essentials for their kids like diapers or clothing. This has been an incredible tax break for middle-class families, and we need to keep it going. And the data is very, very strong. This creates huge opportunities for our kids long into the future. And the way that we're going to make a difference is by keeping it going. We need to keep it going.
So yes, as you can see, there is really a lot of talk right now going on about this. And I don't even know if the president even has that authority to actually enact some of these provisions in this bill. But the pressure is on him right now, as if it hasn't already been. We've already known that the president is not doing so good in his popularity right now, as well as his numbers on the job that he has been doing in this country, with his ratings being around 42%. Now, if he can just go ahead and use his executive order, if he has the authority to pass these provisions in this bill, I'm sure those numbers would actually go up. But if that does not happen, guys, we still have the other alternative, which is what Senator Chuck Schumer is now vowing to have next month. Senator Chuck Schumer is now vowing to put the social spending bill on the floor for a vote coming in mid-January. And right here in this article, it says that Chuck Schumer vows a floor vote on the Biden's $1.6 $2.7 trillion mega bill next month, unless Senator Joe Manchin can put his foot forward and prevent this from happening. And as we've already seen, guys, he has already done that. He actually killed this bill last week, in which the Democrats have totally given up on trying to get this bill passed before Christmas, which they already knew that wasn't going to happen, guys. So now the Democrats are looking towards the middle of January in trying to get this thing done once again. The negotiations will continue thus far, but the biggest holdup, which is still Senator Joe Manchin, and he actually spoke out about this issue in which the Democrats are still trying to pass this bill. And right here, this is what he said, that he wants the Democrats to know exactly how he feels about this social spending bill and what it sits at right now. He said this message to the Democrats: redo the whole entire bill, and then maybe he'll vote for it. So yes, guys, the West Virginia senator wants a new bill that goes through Senate committees and focuses on rolling back the 2017 Trump tax cuts. Joe Manchin has some advice for the fellow Democrats: rebuild the Build Back Better Act, and you might still get my vote. So as we can see, guys, if the Democrats are able to put this bill on the floor for a vote come middle of January, Senator Joe Manchin is still not going to vote in favor of this bill unless the Democrats are going to redo the entire bill and then have the other committees review the bill. And then Senator Joe Manchin will look over this bill and determine whether he will or whether he won't support this bill. Now, guys, let me know what you think about that. Senator Joe Manchin is running the show right now. And I actually saw a comment on one of my previous videos in which one of you guys referred to Senator Joe Manchin as President Manchin. I thought that was so hilarious, guys. Continue to keep commenting down below because it really helps out this channel as well as it helps out this video in order for YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, I hope this information was helpful to you today. But anyways, guys, hey, that's all I have for you today. Now, if you enjoyed this type of content and you want to see more, hey, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. It's totally free. And if you like this video, then go ahead and hit that like button for us. It really helps out this channel as well as it tells YouTube to share this video with others. But anyways, guys, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.